In September, Eric Williams Endra, Sonia Endra, their 2 children and Sonia's 2 parents had their refugee application to Canada rejected. The family of 6 Afrikaners based their claim on white South Africans being at risk of persecution for their race. The family also included in their asylum application claims that they were victimized in a series of crimes. They claimed that in 1995 they were victims of a carjacking. In 2004 they claimed their home was invaded by 4 men. In 2013 once again their home was broken into. And in 2014 they claimed a car was stolen from right in front of their house. Now, I probably don't need to tell you this, but South Africa is a crime-ridden and somewhat lawless country with high rates of violent crimes like murders and rapes. However, for the Immigration and Refugee Board, this was not seen as enough of a reason to accept their status as refugees, as the definition of a refugee is actually very narrow, and it only applies to those who face specific discrimination based on race, religion, nationality, or membership in a particular group being persecuted. But the basis for this family's claim being rejected seems to have less to do with them not fitting the definition of a refugee, and more apparently with our government taking issue with the statistics and evidence the Endra family presented. According to the National Post, government lawyers described the family's concerns for their children's safety was based on, quote, patently unreliable racist propaganda. And any fear that the family had that their children could be raped by blacks was, quote, white supremacist hate literature, unquote. Once again, we see this politically correct belief that whites somehow cannot be the victims of racism. Now, because the term refugee is so narrowly defined, it makes sense that this family does not meet the standard. But that said, we've had experts on the network before, like Canadian immigration lawyer Gidi Mammon, that maintain the current crop of Syrian Muslims fleeing their civil war and being imported en masse to the West don't even meet the requirements for true refugee status. But don't you get the feeling that this government, our government, went out of the way to try to discredit this Afrikaans family and to publicly state that they were using white supremacist hate literature to try to paint this family as bigots? Did the Immigration and Refugee Control Board simply ignore the fact that the ruling ANC and South African President Jacob Zuma regularly sing the black folk song, "Kill the Boer, Kill the Farmer"? Or that the leader of the third party in South African Parliament, the black nationalist economic freedom fighters Julius Malemba, has been quoted as saying blacks need to take the land back from Dutch thugs? I guess because unlike stating that white children may face the threat of rape, these aren't examples of hate speech or a legitimate threat against Afrikaners, right? Look, it's sort of bizarre that in this era of ever-increasingly violent and brutal farm attacks in South Africa against white South Africans, and during a time when Justin Trudeau opened Canada's borders to the world and allowed in 40,000 illegal migrants across our border irregularly and done nothing about it, no deportations, no rejected claims yet, but we can't possibly let any white South Africans who may actually be facing crime and hardship far worse than any of those 40,000 who are actually already in a safe third country, being the United States. So while the situation in South Africa may not rise to the level of a legitimate refugee claim, we know that the crimes that befall them are all legitimate. In 2007, the South African government stopped recording the ethnicity of victims of farm attacks. But according to the Transvaal Agricultural Union, there were 345 attacks resulting in 70 deaths in 2016. And between 1998 and 2016, the total number of farm murders was 1,187, though many estimate the actual number is closer to 3,000. For the Rebel.media, I'm Christopher Wilson. Thanks a lot for watching. You know, we are super excited here at The Rebel because we've got a new list, a swath of new premium content for you guys this fall. Now, if you want to take advantage for a limited time, we've got some discount pricing on our premium memberships. And if you want to see what shows we've got in store, go to therebel.media/shows.